The most bouncy Asian meatballs for pho. It's called Luke Scene and is used in so many Lao dishes like noodle soups, salads, and grilled then smothered in a sweetened fish sauce. With the right technique, each ball becomes plump, juicy, and bouncy. This is a food that is enjoyed in versatile ways and by all ages. Sabaidi fam, welcome back to Saeng's Kitchen. Today we're making a food that you probably often use in all these other Lao dishes like pho, some type of papaya salad, or maybe you just like eating it on its own. Well, today's recipe is gonna save you a lot of money because I'm gonna show you how to make those bouncy, chewy meatballs. I call them Lao meatballs that go in so many versatile dishes. So this is a great foundation video to watch. But before we get into the video, I have an announcement. So as many of you know, I have a cookbook coming out soon and the pre-orders will be out in a month or 2 months. Please subscribe to my newsletter for exclusive cookbook bonuses, events, and also just to find out where and what city I'll be at when I do the cookbook tour. So now let's get cooking. The first step is to mix the dry powders and the seasoning. So go ahead and grab a small bowl. I'm gonna add the tapioca flour and then this special Accord seasoning, and I'm using about a tablespoon of that. If you can't find this, check out my written recipe. I'm gonna show you alternatives that you can make somewhat similar adjustments if you can't use Accord seasoning. What is Accord powder? It is a meat processing additive used to make your meatballs more smooth, juicy, and bouncy. Isn't that what we all want? As the meat is ground up, the powder helps pull out the myosin from the meat, making it more sticky and bouncy. But remember, don't put too much. A little bit goes a long way. And then we're gonna have some MSG, and 2 tablespoons of salt, garlic powder, and then some onion powder, white pepper, and the special last ingredient is the Lao Spices Lao Barbecue blend. I like adding this because you get to be creative and add your own flavors to your home cooked foods. And why not add something that you love? And I love Lao Barbecue. A tablespoon of that, so you really get the good flavors in there. All right, so that's a tablespoon of the Lao Barbecue. And if you wanna know where you can get the Lao Spices Lao Barbecue blend, you can go ahead and go to laospices.com, and these ship anywhere in the US. So go ahead and grab yourself a bottle. Now that we have all the dry spices in the bowl, go ahead and mix it well. And I like doing this first because you can evenly get all the dry spices mixed well instead of just dumping everything on top of what we're gonna do next. So now we're gonna bring in the wet ingredients. So first is some cold water. Make sure it is cold. It's crucial that we're using cold water and also ice later on. And then a little bit of vegetable oil. And you wanna whisk this well. Make sure that all the dry ingredients are mixed well with the water and oil. So we have about 1.5 pounds of ground beef. So next thing you wanna do is put on some gloves and grab the wet mixture and just pour it right on top of the beef. All right, and then go ahead and mix it well. And I also wanna note that the beef was frozen and then I let it de-thaw for a bit in the fridge, so it is extra cold and that's what you want. So as you squish the meat around, you'll notice that it actually absorbs all the liquid and the flavors. And it's actually pretty fast. All right, so I'm happy with this and let's bring out the blender. Next process is grab the cold meat and then put it into your food processor. And put it around here so it evenly blends. So what we have is ice right here. So I'm gonna put a little bit of ice in here first to start. And again, this is to keep all the meat cold as you blend. So this is 1 cup of ice that I'm just adding in here. And just put a little bit, not all at once. Why do you use ice cubes? It's important to use ice cubes because we want the meat very cold, especially through this type of process when you're making bouncy meatballs. When the meat is mixed with salt, the myosin dissolves, creating this paste that's sticky and bouncy. And if it gets too warm, the protein can denature and become clumpy. We don't want that. Turn it on. Then off, take the lid off, and you'll see it's gonna slowly become like a very smooth meat paste. I don't know if that sounds good, but that's what it's gonna become. Right, so I'm gonna scrape the edges, make sure we get it all well combined and blended. And then again, I'm gonna continue adding some more ice. goes my lid. Okay, turn it on. Let's take a look the second time. And it should become like almost a light pale pink color. And you'll see that some of the ice doesn't melt, which is totally fine. But it looks like I think I need to blend this a little bit more. And this is not long at all. It's about a couple of minutes, 2 to 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm happy with it. So now it should be this like smooth meat paste that is like stringy and sticky like this. And the first thing I'm gonna do, if I see big ice chunks, I'm just gonna take it out because those didn't melt. They were there to help it stay cold. And some did melt, which is wonderful. So we have the goopy, silky meat paste. And just gonna go ahead and put it in the bowl. And this sticks everywhere. So you wanna get all the crevices of your food processor. And a lot of it's stuck on the blade. So I'm just going around with my spatula. All right, so there you have it. This is the meat paste that we are looking for. And I'm just gonna flatten it out a bit. I'm gonna put some plastic wrap on top and then just put it in the fridge for like an hour or two to just let it sit in all those flavors before I start cooking it. While we do that, we can clean up and then also start making the sauce. While the meat's in the fridge, let's make the sauce. So we have these pickled garlic cloves right here. These are actually one of my favorite ingredients. It's so simple, but also very unique just because of how it's pickled. So it looks like this. Here's the brand I use. It's like a sweet, slightly funky, salty, it just has all the good flavors I want. So I'm actually gonna take out 3 of these. And the thing about this is that it can be a little finicky, so you gotta peel off the skin. And the cloves are actually quite small. So it looks like this. I like to just push it out of the skin. And it should pop out like that. So you wanna do this to the rest of them. And you're gonna look like, oh, that's a lot of garlic, but actually it isn't. It doesn't taste like regular, fresh, raw garlic. It adds that really bright sweetness and funky flavors to this dip, which I love. Okay, so I have all the garlic in here, and then I'm gonna add 4 green, fresh bird-eye chili peppers, and then smash it into a paste. So it should look something like this. And I'm just gonna get the water ready to add to the sauce later. So we're doing 2 tablespoons. And this is regular water. I'm just gonna add the fermented water right to it. Right, so let's go ahead and get a small pot ready, turn it on high heat, and then add the sugar right in there. I'm just gonna shake this to put an even layer of sugar, and then I'm gonna bring the heat down to like a medium. And you wanna let the sugar melt until it gets to a light golden color. It'll take about 2-3 minutes. You can see it starts to cook faster on the sides, so you can go ahead and get a spatula and mix it in there so it doesn't burn. And scrape the sides, and you want this an even golden color. All right, so I'm happy with this, and now we're gonna add the water with the fermented water in there. And then go ahead and let this cook on low until all the sugar is mixed in well with the water and it's like an even mixture. So right now we want to get this clump melted. Most of the sugar is now melted, and so now we can start seasoning it and add all the other ingredients. So I have the tamarind paste right here, the fish sauce, MSG, and then the garlic pepper paste. And then go ahead and mix this well. And you want to bring this back to a rolling boil, and we're going to start reducing the sauce. What does it mean to reduce sauce? It's asking you to apply the reduction cooking technique. It means that you bring the sauce to a simmer and there's no lid on top, and you just let the water evaporate. In turn, it creates a concentrated sauce that's thick and intense in flavor. So when you use this sauce on the meatballs, it is coated with a lot of umami-licious flavors. We always want umami, right? And when you're reducing the sauce, you want to make sure you get the bubbles small enough where they're slowly popping. That also shows you the consistency or the thickness of the sauce after it cools down. So that's how you make the sauce, and we're gonna put this in the fridge as we start working on the meatballs. So the meat's been in the fridge for about an hour, so I think it's ready to start creating the meatballs. Take off the plastic wrap, and I'm gonna put one plastic glove on. Right next to me, right here, I have some hot water that is just below simmering, and that's what you want. So I have some cold water, a spoon, and so this is the step when you wanna emphasize technique, so you get those round, nice, and plump balls. So let's go ahead, take a handful, and then with your hand, you're gonna start pushing it out like this, and then with your thumb, taking it back until you get a nice size and even meatball. So you're gonna see it's maybe uneven like this, but to make it even more round, you're gonna take your wet spoon, take it from the long end, go from there, and like that. And drop it into the hot water. Okay, so all the balls are in there now, and then we're just gonna gently mix it. And again, do not let this come to a simmer. You just want it in hot water for about 10 minutes to cook. Okay, so 10 minutes are over and the meatballs are fully cooked. They're looking extra plump and juicy. So let me show you. Look at these. It's a little warm, so I'm gonna show you one and show you how plump and bouncy it is. Look at that. See that? So now I'm just gonna grab a big strainer and I'm just gonna take them out. And put it in a large bowl. Okay, so you could do two things. Either you can stop here and the meatballs are done and ready. So if you do stop here, I would suggest putting it in a cold bath water and letting it come to room temperature. And so those are ready to put into the fridge and use whenever you want. Or you can also put them in the freezer. But I'm gonna take it to another step, which is gonna grill these meatballs and show you how to use the sauce. So I'm gonna start skewering these, put it right in the middle. And I'm gonna do about 5 per skewer. Cute. Skewers are done, look, ah! This is the kind of bouquet I want, a bouquet of meatballs. All right, let's go to the grill and cook these up.
Lightly spray cooking oil on a flat tray or large pan and heat it on high. Carefully place the skewered meatballs onto the hot surface, spacing them evenly so they're easier to flip later. Place a large heavy metal plate on top of the meatballs to press them down and cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. Remove the plate, flip each skewer, and repeat the process and cooking. When finished, each meatball should be golden on both sides. Turn off the heat and transfer the skewers to a plate. Stir minced cilantro in the cooled sauce and mix well.
So the sauce is done and the meatballs are done, so let's start plating. Let us drizzle the sauce over this. The meatballs are all done. Take a look. Oh, this looks so good. Here's a little close up. Look at those meatballs. Ooh. All right, well, it's time. Let's give it a try. The first flavor, you get that blast of like sweet, sticky fish sauce from the glaze with the nice fragrance from the pickled garlic. And then once you bite into the meatball, it's that instant bounce and flavor from the Lao barbecue. This is an instant hit for those parties. And as you chew, you continue getting like the fresh fragrance from the cilantro and the crispy ends of the meatballs that were grilled. Oh yeah, y'all gotta give this a try. This is so good. Make sure you make a lot of meatballs. You're gonna be saving a lot of money because all these meatballs just come from 1.5 pounds of beef. All of this. All right, well, let me know if you give this a try. It is a must. Khop-chai lai. Thank you so much, friends, for watching. Comment below on your thoughts about this being Laotian recipe. And if you want more Lao recipes, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you all next time on Saeng's Kitchen. Bye.